What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes, and this video is all about what I think and what Mr. Wonderful thinks about how crypto regulation would change the game in crypto itself. And then I actually want to share some stats in terms of what funds have already come in the crypto space, some significant ones, and how that relates to where regulation would kind of take it. So let's get right into content. So first things first, I talked about Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and he has actually been, kind of a crypto advocate over the last little while, to the point where he's actually even created an app that has his nickname, which is the WonderFi app. And so here, this article here is why Kevin O'Leary believes you have to be bullish to want crypto regulation. And I mentioned this in my previous video, that the biggest misconception that those not in crypto have for those in crypto is that we don't actually want regulation. We want it to be a loose form where there's really no oversight. And look, to some degree, when it comes to things like Bitcoin, makes sense. Okay, just the way the makeup of Bitcoin is. I'm not going to get into that, but overall, for price points and the value of certain things, which are cryptocurrencies, which are, they are based on US dollar. If we think, for example, Bitcoin is going to go to 500,000 or million plus, you have to have big money come in. You, me, us investing, us buying and selling, not going to change anything. Very, very minimal amount. In order to get the big waves, in order to have some stability in the market, somewhat stability. We see the big boys, the big funds in the stock market, and there's no stability there. But over a long period of time, there's obviously more stability in the stock market, which has been around for longer than crypto. So we need that big money in. Why is big money not coming in? Because there's no clear regulation. What is tradable, what is not tradable? Are they going to get fined for certain things? Who knows, right? So they want that clarity. So I want to take you through some of this article. Is that he's been, Kevin O'Leary thinks crypto could become the 12th sector of the economy, but there's a big if. He believes the industry needs regulation if it's to achieve its potential. 100% I agree with this. And goes on to say here, increased regulation in Canada was actually made. This is what made him actually even more bullish on crypto, was the fact that there was some regulation changes that actually recognize crypto in Canada. Now, there are some things about that recognition that I don't like, some of the stipulations that they put in, but I'm not going to get into that. So he's like, look, he could invest in crypto without being a cowboy. He thinks he's not alone, that many investors who want to play by the rules will get involved when stronger regulation gets passed. 100%. They're all sitting on the sidelines. They all want a piece, or the majority want a piece, but they just can't. They have what's called compliance departments. They can't jump in without the okay of that department. And that okay is not going to happen unless there's clear crypto regulation. And then how do you fit within that regulation? So it's important to have clear guidelines as to what you can or cannot do, especially when you're managing 500 million, $1 billion plus. So he believes, okay, we're going to go through this. He's like, here, but the lack of regulation is a huge obstacle, particularly when it comes to attracting institutional investors. According to O'Leary, institutional money is sitting on the sidelines at the moment because compliant departments won't sign off on significant crypto investments. I touched on that already. All right, but he's like saying, O'Leary thinks that regulation could bring $1 trillion into the industry overnight. Overnight. I don't think you guys really think about that. Many people don't think about that. When you're not in the space, actually even for those of us who are in the space, we don't think about this, is what that can change. Just that amount of money that will come in instantly. It would just change the entire game. All right. He says the majority of investor capital funds hold no crypto right now because there's no clear policy. But he argues they will get involved if authorities introduce clear rules. And then he goes on to talk about liquidity as well, meaning the amount that's movable, buying and selling, and that would increase, but also stability would come into the market, right? So here he goes. He actually tweeted this out. You have to be bullish if you believe in crypto regulation. I could not agree more. So I want to dispel this rumor even more so that those of us who are in crypto and or champions of crypto don't want any regulations. We do. We just want them to be clear. We don't want some kind of decision made today based on some vague ruling or some vague paperwork that was done and no one really has any idea what's going on behind it. So that we don't want. Okay? But this is very important for crypto as a whole, the sector as a whole. I wanted to share this with you. There's some more stats that I want to share with you guys. Okay, and so here we have, this is from my good friend Teeka. Always sends out great information. All right, and so I just want to highlight this right here. So venture capital firms have poured $30.3 billion into crypto companies in the first half of 2022. First half. So this was, I guess in June here, 6 months worth. So $30.3 billion was put into crypto companies from venture capital. So basically firms that are supporting crypto startup projects in the first half of 2022. Now that's already more than $30 billion that went into the industry in 2021. And we still have 3 months left. So think about this. 2021, $30 billion in total. Not a small number went into crypto startups, crypto projects, Web3 projects, however you want to phrase it, but it's in the crypto space. And now in 2022, just within a 6 month span, we have more than 30 billion. Chew on that for a little bit. All right. So again, he puts out here. So if you're worried that crypto's brightest days are behind us, he's like, today I'll show you why nothing could be further from the truth. If you know anything about Teeka, he is as big of a crypto bull as you can possibly have. All right. So he goes on to even point out further. Let's reduce me here a little bit. All right, that A16Z or A16Z, how you want to say it, which is one of the largest funds, the most notable fund for sure is the Andreessen Horowitz fund here. And they actually announced $4.5 billion for its crypto fund 4. Think about this. Okay, so the 4.5 billion obviously is quite a significant number. But this is crypto fund number 4. They've done 3 crypto funds before this and then thought there's still even more of an appetite for 4. It's got to be saying something, right? So they've raised in all of their funds more than $7.6 billion to invest in crypto projects. Not a small amount. All right. And if you don't know A16Z or Z, these are the guys that have actually invested in things like Skype, Twitter, Facebook, Stripe, Groupon, Coinbase, and Roblox. All massive companies, all very well-known companies. And so they're not just some side crypto fund that you don't know about and have invested in things that you don't know about. And according to their firm, we're now entering the golden era of Web3. More importantly, a massive wave of world-class talent has entered Web3 over the last year. They are brilliant and passionate and want to build a better internet. That's why we decided to go big. So that's the official statement from their firm. One of the largest, definitely the most notable firm and most respected firm out there. And they're talking about Web3 and how it's the golden era and they're going in big. Okay. And then Teeka goes on to say, well, they're not the only ones. There's actually a UK-based firm called North Zone who've announced a $1 billion crypto fundraise. $1 billion. Okay. That's quite a bit here. And this is again not an obscure firm. They've invested in things like Trustpilot and Spotify. So definitely some heavy hitters in here that are doing that. And I want to go on here to one last thing I want to show you guys here, okay? We talked about all the money that's coming in. All of it. All right, and I want to start. We already talked about here 4.5 billion right at the base of this pyramid. Sequoia, another large investment firm, 2 billion. 850 million is launched for a Southeast Asia fund. We've got another fund with 1 billion. We've got the Flow protocol itself with 725 million. We've got Felix Capital at 600 million. We've got BII at 500 million. We've got Immutable X, which is another protocol with 500 million. Binance Labs with 500 million. And then you go on where you have Standard Crypto, which is another another VC firm, 500 million fund for blockchain, and then you've got a firm called ABCDE Capital, which put in 400 million investing in building Web 3. So guys, let me ask you this: with all this money in the space now, without clear policy, without clear regulation, imagine how much money is sitting on the sidelines. We're talking about 4.5 billion here, 5 million here, 1 billion here, like as if it's nothing. And they're all pouring into this space, and you may not even hear about it. Now, once regulation is clear and concise, now every firm under the sun can get a piece of this. And they will, trust me on that. So I want to go back to the point of those of us in the crypto space are not for regulation. There's definitely a sector or subset within the space that are anti-regulation. They don't want anything, right? They think that any touch points that have to do with regulation or governments, we don't want it. Let's move on, and the world will be a better place governed just by blockchain. I don't sit in that camp. I definitely don't sit in that camp. I think we need the big money, and in order for that big money to happen, we do need clear guidelines. It's fine. I'm okay with that, but they got to make sense. Those guidelines have to make sense. But when they do, you guys are going to see a tremendous wave of investments, of capital, not only just in money, but in terms of time, energy, and effort. Think about the new generation that's coming up, the new startups. They're going to want to go into tech funds and other non-tech related startups when there is a sector where people will just want to throw all kinds of money in. Now, that doesn't mean all projects will be good, but where the money flows, you're going to get the best and brightest minds also going in that field, because they can actually capitalize and grow quickly and scale quickly. So it's going to be one exciting future. But I just really wanted to point this out to you guys, that regulation, I believe, is necessary to some degree. That regulation, when it does come, not if, is going to allow even more investments in the space, which is going to catapult the crypto space even higher and to to a level that none of us have ever expected. I think even the most bullish person right now, Michael Saylor or otherwise, even Teeka, whatever they think is going to happen when this big money comes in or how it's going to play out, I think it's going to exceed even that. I honestly do. And I want you to be a part of that. And this is the one time where the average person can get in before the big money. We have that possibility. So why would we give that up? Why would we give that up? I urge you to do your own research. I urge you to invest with whatever capital you can without being financially ruined if things went sideways. You just need to do your own research. That's the best thing that I can say. So guys, I hope you found value in this video. Smash the like button if this type of content really resonates with you and makes sense and you'd like to see more. Of course, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And all I got to say is enjoy the weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.